Hello everyone, this is Professor Patterns, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can use the output of your custom models to build interesting applications, such as a therapist app over here where I can ask it a question like, what do you think my yearly income is? It's going to search the knowledge base about all this information that I've provided, and then based on that, it gives me a response. Here's another example of a chatbot, and this is basically an auto sales assistant. I can ask it if it has any Nissans for sale. It looks at all the cars that are available in the database and then tells us that yes, there are 3 that are available. So, how do we actually set this up? Well, to actually use the APIs, you'll first have to create your custom model as well as a knowledge base. So, if you don't know what those two things are, I've shared some links in the description for 2 videos that you should watch and then come back to this video. Now, in terms of the custom model, the model that I currently have is the therapist one. So here we have a system prompt. I've also given this custom model the knowledge base. So it's John Doe memory. If I go over to the knowledge base, I can see what that memory looks like. I provided information about some basic career, personal life, family life, and financial history. Now I know that I can access this model here. So if I just search for a therapist, I can ask it a question, say something like, what is my yearly income? And it's going to be able to search the knowledge base and then provide an appropriate response. Now, how do we actually take the results, or how do you take this entire model and then create some sort of an API for it so that we can then use it in other places? Well, for OpenWeb UI, you can access all of your models in this IP. It's localhost 3000 /API /models. Now, when you go here, you'll be able to see all of those different models that you have on your OpenWeb UI interface. So I've got the GPT-4 models, I've got the GPT-3.5, the Anthropic Claude Sonnet models, all of them that are available here. I also have access to my custom models. So if I search for a therapist, you'll see that I have access to the therapist model here. It's using as a base the OpenAI GPT-4. It sees what the system prompt is. And then it's also providing all this information about the files. So this is the file number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them. So that's great because then I can use all of that information to create some sort of an application that looks like this. So let's assume that we wanted to create a custom model that was based on the candidate resume pool here. So the goal of this custom model is to maybe be some sort of a recruiting assistant. And its goal is to basically look through all of these different resumes and then just provide us the best candidate based on the job requirements. So since we know that this is the knowledge base, we'll start by creating our custom model. Let's select workspace. And here I'm going to select create a new model. Let's call this one the recruiting assistant. And the base model that I want to use is the OpenAI GPT-4o. Let's keep that standard. And the description is basically, this is an assistant for me who is a recruiter. Now, what do I actually put as my system prompt? Well, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to say create a system prompt for my model. So I said that the goal of this model is that it's a recruiter assistant and it has access to a knowledge base of different resumes. The recruiter looks through those resumes and provides the best candidate for the role. So here we go. You are recruiter GPT. And these are all of the things for the system prompt. And I'm simply going to copy that. Let's go here. And then I'm going to paste it over here. And the knowledge base that I'll attach to this is going to be the candidate resume pool. Now, I don't need to ask for citations or vision. Let's just keep it standard. And I'm going to simply save and create. So this is now complete. And I can see that I can even access this model on OpenWeb UI. So let's search for recruiting assistant. Let's test this out. So I'm going to say, who would be the best fit for a data science role? So it's going to search the knowledge base for all of these different candidates. And then based on that, it's going to tell us like who's going to be the best fit. So there we go. We can see that it's currently working. Now, how do we actually access this model? Well, we'll have to go to localhost 3000 /API /models. If I refresh this page, I can Control F to search for recruiter. So let me also make sure that I can actually see this JSON a little bit better. And there we go, we see it. So it's the recruiting assistant model. So I'm simply going to copy this right here, right? This is the model that I need. Now, how do I create a sort of front end interface? Now, if you haven't watched my series about AI coding tools, then I definitely recommend watching the video that I'll post in the description. It's going to go through how you can set up your complete no code coding environment. The tool that I'm using is called Cline. And let me create this prompt. So I'm gonna first start by going here to the API endpoints, copy this entire page. I'm gonna say here, and I'm simply gonna say use this as a reference. I have OpenWeb UI running on localhost 3000, and I'm also gonna say I want to use this model, and let me copy and paste the name of this model that's available here is the recruiting assistant. So let me put that in here. Okay, I think that should work. All I did was I simply said, I gave it the entire documentation for how you can access the API endpoints. And then I just gave it some info on, look, I want to use, or I'm running OpenWeb UI on localhost 3000. I'm using this model. I want you to create a chatbot where users can ask any questions about candidates, and the recruiting assistant will return the best candidates for the role. Let's see if this actually works. Okay, so it says that it's done, but let's take a look. I'm going to open this in File Explorer, and then let's go over to this page. So first it's saying, please provide your OpenWeb UI API key to continue. So let me just grab that real quick. The way that you can find your API key is just go over here to your admin panel, or sorry, go over here to your settings, and then select, or go to your account and then select API keys. And then if you hit show, you'll be able to see your API key. So that's what this is asking for. So let's give it the API key. And here I'm going to ask it the same question. Who is, or find me the best candidate for a data science role. Now, the only thing that I need to do is just make sure that it is using the knowledge base. So here it says the assistance is typing, and then Jessica Lawson. I believe that that's the same sort of candidate that it recommended when we were using the interface on OpenWeb UI as well. Now, sure, this formatting is not great. So what can we do? Well, I'm simply going to take a screenshot of this and then go back to Cline and then just say the format is not great. Please fix. So it's going to look at what's wrong with the formatting, and then based on that, it's going to try to create it or try to make it look better. Again, I'm not a programmer. I'm not a software developer, so this is not going to be great coding practices or anything like this, but it's pretty easy to go from absolutely nothing to actually having something where it writes all this code. You can see that it deletes a lot of code, it puts in a lot of new code, and we can eventually see what the end result is going to look like. So here it looks like it's currently done. So let's go back here to see what that looks like. So let's just refresh this page. And then again, I'm going to simply provide it the API key and ask the same question. Who would be the best candidate for a data science role? So after asking, let's see if it actually gives us the formatting in a good markdown representation. So there we go. Okay, so it's not the best kind of formatting, but at least it's an improvement. So all of this is great. You'll actually see how you can create all of these custom models directly on OpenWeb UI, attach a knowledge base, attach a set of different tools and functions and all of those different things, because for each one of your custom models, if you wanted to, you could have also attached other things like vision capabilities, run code, so any other sort of filters or functions or any of those things, or even some additional tools. You can add all of those here on OpenWeb UI. Get the link to that model from here that's running on localhost 3000 API models, and then you can pretty much just use that anywhere. And that is the interesting thing about having API access or output access for your models. So that's pretty much it for this video. I've put in all of the different codes for each one of these different chat bots, like the car dealership, as well as the mindful sort of therapist chat and all of those different things. I've shared it in the description. So if you wanted to try it out for yourself, just take a look at the GitHub repository. So this is the one, for example, for the car dealership chatbot. The only thing that you'll have to do is just take a look at the car inventory. You'll attach your own knowledge base, right? So here I've put in a bunch of different cars. You can use this, or maybe if you wanted to, you can add your own car inventory. And you'll see that it's actually really responsive at providing some results. So, for example, if I was to say something like, "What is your cheapest car?" You'll see that it will search the knowledge base. It does the thinking, but based on that, it says the cheapest car is 2020 Kia Forte. Now, obviously, like this is fake or random data. So if you want to add some real data and test it out, let me know how that actually works out for you. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.